Happy New Year, everybody. It's Tom Chenault.
And Denice Chenault. We're so happy you're here.
And we are really, really excited about getting to be a part of this great event that is all over the world. And it is such an important part of your business to be able to train on meetings and events. And Denice and I have built our success on meetings and events. And I'll never forget when Dr. Wallach, when we were on the road with Dr. Wallach, he was talking about having home meetings. He was talking about monthly trainings. He was talking about regional trainings. And he was talking about big, big national events. And we, quite frankly, didn't believe him. And we just couldn't understand how they all tied together until my wife, Denice, found a mentor that really, really changed our life. And talk about that a little.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of those things where Doc would talk about rallies and home meetings, and I was kind of thinking, okay, Doc, this is the 21st century. And then we found a couple of books from Bob Chris, Raising a Giant and Feeding a Giant. And, the core of those is all about using events to your best ability to promote your business and really as a tool for your business.
And if you take a look at the people that are really killing it in longevity right now, you take a look at the hundreds of people that are showing up all over California with Dr. Luis Ariaza, or the meetings with Keith Halls or with Corey Gold or with Scott Bardulis. It is astounding that underneath all of that, they're all using basically the same premise, is one-on-one meetings, home meetings, weekly meetings, monthly training, regional events, and then national events. And in our case, it is magic because we've got so much of that going on. And because the meeting locator that Longevity has instituted, that is working so well because Steve Wallach literally put an army behind it. So everybody's weekly meetings are posted. Everybody's Super Saturday monthly trainings are posted. Everybody's regional meetings are posted. And obviously we're all building toward Anaheim. And what that means is that we can build, every one of us can build a meeting culture just like those people that you might be envious of. But it starts with you. It starts with that one-on-one meeting. It might start in a meeting in a car with 4 people, or a meeting at somebody's house, no matter what the house looks like. I hear all the time, well, my house isn't nice enough. Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Your house is perfect. Your house is your house. It's your home. And that's where you should be having the meetings, because people don't come to those meetings for a fancy house. They come to be a part of you. And that's why they're coming, right?
Well, and people don't realize that at the core of this, you want it to be duplicatable. And so, having a normal house, not a fancy house, not serving a lot of food, just keeping it simple so that people realize when they come into your home, I can do this too. I can put out some BTT. I can invite some people and have my upline come over and do the presentation. I can do that.
And what's going on with the MK Collab? What's going on with the memory keeping? What's going on with the Mia Alicia jewelry, where they're talking about really taking that home meeting to a whole new level and putting a hostess compensation package together around that in 2016 is going to play right into the magic of events. And the first event is that one-on-one meeting or that home meeting. But when people leave that, when they've left the meeting and they're in love with what you're doing, but they're going, what do I do next? That's why you have that weekly meeting beyond your home meeting. So they all come together that Thursday night and they all get together to talk about the business and what they're doing to build their business.
It's a weekly opportunity meeting.
Righto.
And when we started out, we did it consistently. And I always talk about the fact that we had the same 4 people showing up week after week after week. And we thought, when is this thing going to grow?
Yeah.
But it was the consistency. It was the consistency of doing it every single week, where people knew beyond a doubt that if they were going to show up, if they were going to bring a guest, that we were going to be there, and it would be the same every single week. And that was key.
And if you read Raising a Giant and Feeding a Giant, or if you read Go Pro by Eric Worre, you're going to see how to have those meetings where there is a structure to those, and it is absolutely doable at the lowest common denominator. And that's the most important thing to you, is knowing that you can do it. And whatever you're passionate about in the longevity line is what you lead with. And Denice talked about having BTT at a meeting. And you can have that. You can have the jewelry. You can have whatever you're in love with.
Oils, whatever. I mean, I've done a lot of the mineral makeup parties, and we always talk about beauty from the inside out. And so I talk about the nutrition on the front end, and I share about the nutrition, and then I share about the skincare and the makeup. But I figure if I can't get them on the makeup, then at least I can maybe get them on the nutrition, one way or another. And so whatever it is that lights you up, that's what you want to talk about. And the other thing I think that is important that people get nervous about, I really don't know how to present this as effectively as some of these leaders that I see. And what I want to share is that it really is about coming from your heart. It's not about doing it perfect. It's about coming from your heart. It's about the community that you form at these meetings. It's almost like the meeting after the meeting is more important than the meeting themselves. Because when a guest comes in to an opportunity meeting, they have no idea what they're stepping into. And it really is about, who are these crazy people, and what am I going to gel with them? Can I find somebody in this crowd that I really, that I can relate to?
And the most important thing is how you invite somebody to a meeting. And that is absolutely critical. And if you get this skill down pat, you are going to be successful. But if you're waiting, and Denice is going to talk about those 5 components here in a second, but if you're waiting for the ambassador in your neighborhood to start this thing, you're late.
Yeah.
If you're waiting for the senior vice chairman, you're late. If you're waiting for the vice chairman, you're late. If you're waiting for the presidential, the vice presidential, the SCMD, you're late. Because your mortgage isn't going to wait. Your car payment isn't going to wait. So don't wait. You can't mess this up. Just fail forward until it works and follow the system that is set out before you by, obviously, the people that are really successful. Every mentor I have has taught me over the years, if I want to have a great relationship in marriage, follow the advice of somebody that's got a great relationship in marriage. If somebody's having great success and having huge meetings, that's who you follow. And if you follow a Sean Brown or a Wendy McGee, or if you follow a Louis Ariaza or a Scott Pardulas, I promise you, all of a sudden, those components are going to come together for you, and your meeting is going to be equally as powerful as theirs, and it's going to grow like that. So talk about inviting a little bit.
Well, it's interesting because Eric Ori talks about the 7 core skills of our business. And it's 1, finding prospects, 2, inviting, 3, presenting, 4, follow-up, 5, closing, 6, getting people started, and 7, promoting events. And he actually said out of those 7 skills, the skill to get most skilled at is inviting to events, because that is going to give you the ability to bring people in. You don't have to be an expert, and you can use your upline and other people in the business as your expertise.
Yeah, so you are not on your own on this. We are here to help you do this. We've got to build a bigger meeting culture, because we want meetings going on in Russia exactly like the meetings going on in Singapore. The meetings in Singapore going just exactly like New Zealand or Australia, and everything's starting its way out from, obviously, the United States. Right. And the way that you build it is you build a system and follow a system. And what we've got is the ability to do that because we've got these pioneers that are making that happen. And if you read Sandy Ellsberg's book about sampling and putting things together, that's all that's about, is gathering people of like-minded ability, putting them in a room, and giving those people the ability to advance their business the way that they want to do it inside of a system. Agreed?
Right. And I think that we fool ourselves a lot of times.
Yeah.
And we wonder, you look at your back office and you see this whole slew of people in there and you go, oh, there's my team. And then you go to an event and you're sitting by yourself. And so you have to say to yourself, who's on my team? Well, I hate to break it to you, but the people who are really on your team, the true leaders in your business, are the ones that are showing up to events. And if people aren't showing up, what was it? Were you
That's
gonna
pretty
say
harsh.
that?
No, that's pretty harsh. No.
But if people aren't showing up, then you know that the people that aren't there aren't really plugged in. And the people who do show up are your leaders. They are the ones that have the ability to help to move your business forward. And so if people aren't showing up, you have to ask yourself, why am I not getting the results? How am I not inviting in the right way?
Yeah. And if you're not going to the events, your people aren't going to go. I promise you that.
So one of the things that you absolutely have to do is you have to create value. People who haven't gone to these events don't know the value of the events. And so you have to show value through enthusiasm. You have to tell them what they're going to expect. Okay, so, when you go to this event, this is what you're going to expect. You have to, because there's a fear of the unknown as well. People have busy lives, and so you have to show them why it's important to show up, because if they don't show up, then they don't have the ability to invite guests as well.
I take personal responsibility all the time when people don't show up for meetings that I am completely passionate about, because I know I have the enthusiasm, because enthusiasm's kind of me, like overboard that,
right.
But I didn't create enough value.
That's right.
For them to say, okay, I have to organize my life around what's important.
True.
And I am going to miss something if I don't come to this event. And that's the most important thing, is you understand, you know why you're going, but it makes no difference why you're going. It's called what's in it for them. You've got to get your agenda out of the way. You've got to get into their agenda. Show them that if there is something missing in their life, it just might get filled by coming to this training or this meeting.
Because, you go to an event and every single time you wish that more of your team were there.
Right.
Because there's no way you can express adequately enough what happens during those events. You can't tell about it. You can't share about it. Nothing will stand for those events. And so everybody always feels like, I do it every single time. I go, I wish so-and-so was here. And, I remember the first time I read the Bob Christ books, it lays out in the books the absolute fact that this is an event-driven business. And the events are what you use to promote your business. The events are what you grow your business to, because when you go to the Leadership Summit and the annual conventions, you don't want to go up on stage as the same rank as what you were last year. So you're constantly building your business up so you can achieve a higher rank. As you achieve a higher rank, you're building more competency, you're building more enthusiasm, you're getting better at what you're doing, and therefore your paychecks go up.
That's correct.
And so that's the whole point around events, is that you've got to show up and you've got to bring your team. And Eric Worre says that at your annual convention, every person that you bring to an annual convention is absolutely worth $1,000 to your paycheck annually. So if you want to make $10,000 this year in longevity, bring 10 people to the convention in Salt Lake City. I would suggest bringing them to Anaheim and then the convention. But that's a pretty big number, don't you think?
Yeah. So here's the deal. Don't believe us. Read Eric Worre's book. Read Bob Christ's book, Raising a Giant, Feeding a Giant. Read Sandy Ellsberg's book. But most importantly, look in the mirror right now and say, am I registered for Anaheim? Am I going to the convention? And then follow Johnny Taylor's tip. She says, for the next 52 days, get a sock. Day 1, put in $1. Day 2, put in $3. $2. Day 3, put in $3. At the end of day 52, you're going to have $1,300 in the sock. 52 days later, and you've paid for your convention. So those of you that say you don't have the money, stick $1 in the sock today. We love you guys, and we can't wait to see you at the events. It's crazy. Yeah. This is it. What? Love like crazy, then love more. Thank you very much, you guys. See you later. Can't wait to see you in Anaheim.